Hello YouTube, welcome back to my kitchen. In today's video, we are making my keto/Carnivore Salisbury steak recipe. Now, traditional Salisbury steak is made with flour as a binding agent, which we are going to substitute today with Carnivore Crisps grass-fed beef flour. Now, Carnivore Crisps recently launched a couple of different flours. They have the grass-fed beef flour, they have a chicken breast flour, and they also have a beef organ blend flour. So I've been doing some recipe testing in the past couple of weeks, and I'm really excited to share this one with you. This recipe is made with ground beef. It's a perfect economical weeknight staple. It only takes about 20 minutes to make on the stovetop with minimal prep. So let's get right into it. If you're new here, welcome to our channel. Kevin and I have lost over 90 pounds together on our weight loss journey, and our goal is to help as many people as possible lose weight on the carnivore diet. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Our goal is to spread the message and help as many people as possible with this animal-based way of eating. Okay, so traditional Salisbury steak does use onion and mushrooms as an aromatic, which I'm going to use today. Feel free to substitute the onion with additional onion powder. If you don't like mushrooms, you can omit them altogether, but I find that if you can tolerate them, they provide tremendous flavor to the dish. So I'm just gonna chop up one onion. This is a large onion. I probably only need about half of this. Detailed recipe instructions and measurements will be available on our blog at www.justrealfood.com. I will leave a link in the description below if you're interested in checking it out. So it has been a while since I've made a longer form recipe video. We've just been really busy the past couple of weeks with the launch of Carnivore Cut, which is our coaching program. But I do miss being back in the kitchen. It feels like old days again. So I'm just gonna cut these into little moon-sized slivers. They are gonna cook down on the stovetop, so it doesn't have to be perfect, just rough chop. And brown mushrooms. I love mushrooms. I think I'm just gonna chop a little bit more onion. You kind of want an equal ratio of onion to mushroom. We're using about 600 grams of ground beef today, which is a little over a pound. It's one of those things that if you like onion and mushroom, feel free to add more. If you don't like it, feel free to omit it. If you like it but not too much of it, then feel free to reduce the amount. Very flexible recipe. Okay, so I'm just gonna throw this into a bowl, and I'm going to get started on our beef patties. So I am using 85/15 ground beef today. The fattier the better. This is the Kirkland organic version. This is absolutely one of our main staples on the carnivore diet. We buy this pretty much every week, sometimes multiple packs. Into my bowl, we are going to add 1/4 cup of beef broth. So I have 1/2 cup here in total, so we're gonna use half of it for the patties and we're gonna save the other half. Okay, so I'm gonna crack in 1 egg. I have some salt and pepper, garlic powder and onion powder. And lastly, the Carnivore Crisps grass-fed beef flour. So this beef flour is made with just grass-fed beef and Redmond's real salt. If you guys have ever tried their crisps before, they're very, very high quality. We really like them. They're a perfect snack and on the go, but these flours are great for cooking and basically a substitute for regular flour as a binding agent. Been ground up into a very fine consistency. It's very even, smells just like beef. Of course, that's all there is. So I am going to use a couple tablespoons of this. So if you're interested in purchasing this flour, our discount code with Carnivore Crisps is Alice and Kev, and you will get 10% off of your order at checkout. Okay, so now I'm gonna mix everything all together. I'm gonna start with a wooden spoon and then eventually move to my hands because we're gonna form these into patties. And you just wanna mix this until everything is evenly incorporated. All the spices are in there, all the flour's in there. Now for 600 grams of ground beef, it makes about 6 patties. So I would say every patty is about 100 grams of ground beef. You can scale this recipe up or down depending on how much ground beef you have. And every patty is approximately about 100 grams, which is about 1/4 pound. Okay, I'm just going to set that aside for 1 minute and let the flavors kind of marinate in there while I prepare the sauce for the gravy. So for the gravy, I have about 1/4 cup of beef stock. To that, I'm going to add some Worcestershire sauce. And this is sugar-free ketchup. I like to use the Primal Kitchen brand if you have it on hand, but any sugar-free ketchup will work. Just make sure you read the ingredient labels when you're buying sugar-free ketchup and make sure that the ingredients are things that you can tolerate. Now I'm just gonna give this a little whisk. Get everything incorporated. And we are going to add a little bit more of the beef flour. Again, just as a binding agent, it really helps form the thickness to the gravy, which I know that we all miss being on a low-carb, keto carnivore diet. So I'm just gonna use my hands and form about 6 of these patties. So what I do is I just take, I have small hands, but this is approximately the size of my palm, one of these patties. Kind of form it into a dino egg. So I usually just take 3 fingers and I press down a little bit like that. So you want them to be about 1/2 inch thick. I do have a little bit of extra, so I'm gonna make these patties, you know what? I'm gonna make a 7th patty. So depending on how big you make them, this makes about 6 to 7 patties. Let's head over to the stovetop. So I'm gonna start off with some of this Carnivore Crisps beef butter, which is basically just beef tallow. You can substitute this for any high smoke point oil. I don't recommend butter because butter burns. Definitely one of the highest quality tallows that I've used personally, so I highly recommend it. Okay, next I'm just going to throw in my sliced mushrooms and my onion. And just cook this for 3 to 4 minutes until the onions are translucent and the mushrooms have shrunk down a little bit. I would keep it on a medium to medium-high heat. So after a couple minutes, you just want to set the mushrooms and the onions aside. You don't need to fully cook them because they are going to cook with the beef for 20 minutes. So I'm just adding a little bit of beef tallow back to the pan. My pan's already pretty hot. It's at about a medium heat. And I have my burgers here. So I'm just gonna let that cook for about 1 to 2 minutes per side or until a bit of a crust forms. Okay, so now I'm just gonna throw my mushrooms and my onions back in, and you kind of want to just spread them evenly. And then we're just gonna take the gravy that we made earlier and pour it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn the heat on to high, and then once it comes up to a boil, which will be pretty quick here because the pan is quite hot, we're gonna turn this down to a simmer. We are going to put a lid on it, make sure it continues simmering, and we're gonna cook this for 20 minutes. Alrighty, let's plate. I'm so excited. My kitchen smells amazing. This is perfect for 2 people for dinner plus leftovers. Now, if you lean more keto, feel free to pair this with any sort of low-carb vegetable. And if you are carnivore, feel free to omit the mushrooms and the onions. And if you're somewhere in between like me, this is perfect for you. Make sure I get all these mushrooms and onions on top. You can see the gravy here formed into a nice thick sauce. It smells so good. The umami from the mushrooms and the onion and the beef all mixed together. And that decadent gravy. Oh. Alrighty, it's time for the taste test. Gonna go in for the mushroom first because I like to tease myself. The beef flour makes the gravy so good, to die for. I know some of our viewers were asking for recipe ideas on how they can use the flours. I think this is a great starting point. In addition to making things like burgers, you can also use it to crust meats. You can use it for meatballs. I think this is a really revolutionary product for the carnivore space. So thank you, Carnivore Crisps, for coming out with this product. It's absolutely fantastic. It's actually been a long time since I've had Salisbury steak. I remember back when I was in elementary school in the lunch program, Salisbury steak was on the menu at least once a week. That's like the last time I actually remember having it. And then recently when I was recipe testing, I had it again. Oh my God, that's so good. This actually tastes better than when I did the recipe testing last time. I gotta go in for another bite. I can't hold back. This is amazing. Additionally, I think Salisbury steak is served with mashed potatoes. At least that's what they served it with when I was in elementary school. But I don't even miss the mashed potatoes after being on this way of eating for so long. I could just eat like 3 of these in one sitting. That's much better for me than mashed potatoes. I'm gonna go in for another bite because this is so good. It's super juicy. I highly recommend a fattier cut of ground beef here. The fattier, the better. 85/15 is our staple here. You guys gotta try this recipe. It's amazing, it's to die for. Again, if you are interested in trying out any of their flours, including their beef flour, which is what I use today, our promo code is AllisonKev for 10% off of your order at checkout. If you liked our video today, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. It really allows us to reach as many people as possible with our content. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know whether you've tried any of their beef flours yet and how you've used them in your cooking.